Welcome, everybody, to the Houndstales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Houndstales podcast.
Hunting season is here. Make sure your dog stays energized with Joy High Energy 2420. This beef formula is made to meet the nutritional needs of the hardest working dogs at a whopping 505 kcals per cup. Joy High Energy is formulated with omega-3 and 6 fatty acids for healthy skin and a great coat. Added pumpkin for digestive health and chelated minerals for more energy. So whether they're in the woods, the water, or the field, make sure they have the fuel for anything that comes their way. To learn more about Joy High Energy 2420 or to find a dealer near you, visit joydogfood.com or call us at 800-245-4125.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably have a need for dog supply items such as Garmin products, bark collars, remote trainers, name tags, field trial and hunt dog supplies, supplements and first aid, dog fences, used and refurbished collars, and much, much more. Where can you go to get that? Outdoor Dog Supply. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader when it comes to Garmin Tritronics trade-in program. They were one of the first Garmin dealers to start accepting Garmin buyback trade-ins toward purchases. Outdoor Dog Supply currently accepts both working and some non-working units. Be sure to check in with these guys at Outdoor Dog Supply or at 757-482-1000. And their hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you're in the Chesapeake area in Virginia, be sure to stop in. Go see these guys in person. Outdoor Dog Supply is the leader in online sales as far as Garmin products go and your hunting dog supply needs. This is where I go to get all my stuff. Might as well join me in it. All right, guys. Again, be sure to check these guys out, outdoordogsupply.com, and thank them for coming on board with the Houndstales podcast. Let's get back to the episode. Welcome, everybody, to the Houndstales podcast. On this episode, we are joined by a good friend of mine, Mr. J. Bird McGee. I know I've been kind of leading up to it and kind of building some suspense on this, talking about one of the big crosses that just went into the Hall of Fame, probably one of the most iconic crosses to ever come across the field trialing community. I've been kind of teasing it for a while, but now that you know who's on here, we're going to kind of get into this episode here in a second. Real quick, before we get into it, though, I want to take a second. I have two small announcements that I'd like to make. The first one is we'd like to welcome our newest partner to the Houndstales podcast, and that is the Southern Hound Hunting Magazine. The Southern Hound Hunting Magazine is dedicated to the tradition and heritage of hunting with hounds. Whether your hounds chase big or small game, they will have something for each of you. Their vision for the magazine includes 4 quarterly issues, all in full color. The magazine will have something for everyone in each issue, from veterinary column to a gear review, our hound hunting kids section, and game recipes. Lastly, of course, there will be plenty of pictures for our readers to show off all their hounds and the trophies taken during hunting season. I've been a subscriber myself to this magazine for quite a while now, and they are now also supporters of the Houndstale podcast. I will have an article and an advertisement in the magazine starting on the next issue that is coming out. And we both wanted to join together and promote and tell ethical dog hunting stories and promote ethical dog hunting. This is a joint effort that both me and the magazine have in common, which is why me and Mr. Booth felt like it would be a great fit, a perfect fit to team up and join together to spread this positive outlook on dog hunting as a whole. If you want to subscribe, visit southernhoundhunting.com and become a member today. So, guys, I cannot thank them enough for coming on board. I think that's going to be a great thing. I cannot wait to do that, and be sure to join up with those guys. And we're going to be, like I said, I'm going to be writing some articles for them, and you'll be able to see our advertisement and have a little extra bit of Houndstales podcast in your life if you get into this Southern Hound Hunting magazine. Next, I want to touch on something real quick. You've probably heard me talk about it on the Monday Highlights episode if you did get a chance to listen to it. We are now officially a First Form high performance nutrition dealer. I know some of y'all are wondering probably why in the world are we worried about selling nutrition products. I got two reasons that I wanted to join. One, First Form is behind the hound hunting community. When I got in contact with them, and I actually got in contact with them because I saw that they were trying to expand a little bit more into the outdoor community, the hunting industry, that kind of thing. I was like, man, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. So I got with the guys and talked to them, and I was like, what is y'all's opinion on dog hunting? I was like, because I'm not gonna be a part of something or join something if they don't support what we do. And they had no issues with it. They were like, yeah, we have guys that dog hunt. It may not necessarily be, the deer dogs or nothing like that, but they have dog hunters. They have houndsmen that work there and work with them. So they are supporters of hound hunting as a whole, as a community. So that I thought that was kind of cool. And with them trying to amp up the outdoor program, I thought this was a great time to get in with these guys and start working with them. So second, and I mentioned this on the Monday Highlights episode, but we push ourselves. Not only, we always focus on the dogs so much, but we're pushing ourselves to help make these dogs better. We kind of forget about ourselves. So I'm going to try to start carrying some products and have at these hunts that may help us get through these crazy weekends, maybe get us through these stressful weekends. Maybe you are a gym bug and you like to go and work out and stuff like that. I'll have supplements and stuff like that per request. I cannot do online orders, guys. But I will be able to have these in person, and I'm going to try to work on making some stuff happen, maybe some different areas. But other than that, don't forget these guys have energy drinks. It is a healthier option to the alternative of your energy drinks. And come on, guys, let's be honest, we all use them. The energy drinks keep us going. Those late nights coming home from the fox pen after a nice long pleasure run, or maybe it's a 3-day weekend. You got your butt handed to you all weekend, and I've been there. I've had my butt handed to me and had a long ride back home and nodding all the way home. Give me that energy drink. That's what's going to get me through. So I'll be having these in person. We'll try to start carrying them to the hunts. I'm probably going to put my first order in next week. But I'm also going to have them in person. If you're local to me and you want to get some, hit me up, get up with me, and we'll make that happen. So pretty excited about that, guys. That's going to be awesome. And, enough about all that kind of stuff. I do apologize, guys. I have seen a comment on one of my Facebook posts, and, you know, I understand that listening to me talk about these brands is not what y'all are here for. I understand that, you know, um, I've picked up a lot of different partners, a lot of brands that have jumped on board with the podcast. But to help me make this bigger, I gotta have support, guys. I gotta have a little backing. I gotta have partners, and this is the way to do it. I understand that, just like an advertisement on TV, nobody wants to sit and watch commercials. Nobody wants to sit here and listen to commercials on podcast. I'm going to do some revamping on some of my commercials on here, my advertisements, but they got to stay, guys. I'm working as hard as I can, and this is not only going to help me, but it's going to help y'all as well. So, a lot of these guys that are jumping on board want your business. They want you to come to them as well. That's the whole point of advertisement. So, give these guys a chance. Just give me a little bit of benefit of the doubt on that too as well. So, for anybody that was wondering why we're doing a lot of promoting on here, that's why. I mean, I think that's kind of common sense, common knowledge for most people, but I just wanted a second to explain that. And I did want to apologize that, hey, I got to look out. They're looking out for me. I want to look out for them. I'm going to do everything I can to promote all these amazing companies that have jumped on board. Anything from Joy to Cajun Lights, Outdoor Dog Supply, give them plugs. All these guys. So y'all be sure to hit these guys up. Let them know the podcast sent you guys. And one more thing before I get into it. If you have not yet, if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Music, whatever you're listening to, and they have a review option on that platform, can you please go and give me a 5-star review on there? That will help get our ratings up within the Spotify community, within the Apple Music community, and it will help more people see our podcast first before it sees other ones. So if y'all don't mind, please take a few seconds and go hit that hit that 5-star review for me, and let's get them ratings up, guys. But all right, without further ado, thank y'all so much for that little bit of time right there. We're going to move straight into the episode, and it may sound a little different. We recorded in person out on my front porch. We had some little hit or miss rain showers go through, but you can tell it was in person. Jay Bird come down, and man, we had a great time. I really thoroughly enjoyed talking to him, and I think y'all are really going to like this episode. Back to the field trialers, guys. I've been getting a lot of requests for it. So, without further ado, here we go. Let's drop the gate, cast your hounds. Welcome, everybody, to the Hounds Tales podcast. Tonight, I am joined by a special guest, Mr. Jay Bird McGee. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Everything's good. Thank you for letting me be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Jay Bird come down to the house, and we're recording in person together out here on the front porch. Just avoided a nice little rainstorm. He come down here to look at some trees. If you need some trees cut down, this is the man to contact. What is your business name?
Jay Bird's Tree Service.
Easy enough. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Y'all be sure to get up with him, and if you got any kind of tree services you need. So if you don't mind, just I kind of gave everybody your name, but kind of just give your introduction. Who you are, where you're from, and how long have you been a houndsman?
Mm-hmm. First, I'd like to give all the glory to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. My name is Joseph McGee, and I come from Green Bay, Virginia, and we just have been messing with having hounds since I turned 18 years old, and it just went from deer hounds to fox hounds, and try to do a little bit of both now.
I got you. So 18. So that means somebody had to get you into it. Then who was the leading factor of getting you into dogs?
Just the boys in the around the house there. Their dogs would be running across the farm or whatever, and we jumping out the truck shooting, and, and I was like, man, I want one of those dogs. And then a dog showed up at the house, and I kept it right until hunting season, and my dad gave it away.
Of course he did.
And so I was just ready to have one. I had bird dog as a young man, a child or whatever, and then developed into wanting to deer hunt.
Right.
A little more action.
Yeah, get a little speed behind it, kind of thing.
Right. And one thing led to another, and I just
I like it.
Stayed with it.
I like it.
It stuck around.
You've been in Green Bay your whole life?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
What was the farm there?
What was the name? I think me and you've talked about it before. I can't remember if you know him. I think his name was Charlie. That he used to drag race. Had the chicken farm. It was on Green Bay Road. I don't know if you knew him or not. Real good guy. He just died a few years back. I think he had cancer or whatever. I didn't know if you knew him from up that way.
I think so.
He's about the only person you don't hear many people from Green Bay, Virginia. So
yeah.
On the outskirts of Farmville.
That's right.
So you said 18 you got started with dogs.
Had some hounds, a couple of hounds, and just it kept on growing and growing, and before you knew it I had 20 deer hounds and was trying to deer hunt every day of the year.
Right.
And after 20 years of that or so, or 15, whatever it was, it just wasn't as exciting as it once was, and I had a friend that introduced me into fox hunting, Tinker.
Okay.
Atkins, and we went to Java Fox Pen and took some puppies up there and placed a few, and it was real fun. And after that, I just decided I would rather have fox dogs so I can mess with them every week,
right,
as opposed to deer hounds just a few weeks a year.
That's right. So how how old were you when you got started into the foxhound stuff then?
I was 40 years old.
40 years old.
40 years old.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
When I started, I was the youngest person, one of the youngest people at pools.
no kidding.
And I looked around at the Tidewater the other day, and I felt like I was the next oldest person there. Only person older was Carter Boyden.
Oh man, so when you were deer hunting, was that just a lot of tree stock dogs? What kind of dogs were those?
Yeah, blue tick.
Blue tick.
Mostly blue tick. My best deer hound was a blue tick, and that was his name, blue tick.
Blue tick, easy enough.
And he was just
That was my.
He was a
papa's.
buck dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was my.
seemed to
papa's.
be anyway.
That was my papa's CB handle was blue tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that owned the house that I bought, his CB handle was blue tick.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a blue tick in almost every club.
Yeah,
About
gotta
like a
be.
cuz or
Yeah.
there's always one of those.
Mm.
So so you said who'd you say got you into the field trial?
Tinker took me to the first one, and that was a puppy hunt. And then right after that, I bought a couple dogs from Eddie, and he said, I'll sell them to you, but you got to take them to a hunt on Saturday because I promised my friend I was going to bring 5 dogs to the hunt.
Ah.
So I took them up there, and I didn't know anything about it. We put, Tinker did the numbers on the others, and I didn't know anything about it, and I didn't have much paint. I put just latex bathroom paint
Oh no.
on the dog,
Right.
and it rained like crazy just before the hunt started.
Of course.
So by 8 o'clock, the dog came by the gate. He was first
right.
with no number on. And but they knew what dog it was, and they had seen the number at the beginning and whatever. And so ended up the dog was 9th, and I was just so happy. And
It's on from there.
I didn't even go to the awards thing because my dog didn't have a number on.
Right.
And Eddie Atkins came back out there and said, well, the dog with no number was good enough to get 9th, and here's your trophy.
Right.
And I was like, well, dang. So, yeah.
Do you remember what that cross was?
Oh, I have any idea.
Yeah, I didn't know if
The dog's name was Sony, though. I do remember that.
Okay. I know, man. You talk to some people, they can remember.
Well, it was off of Tinker's dog, off of Tinker's champion dog, Ricky.
Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, man. It's so funny. Like people talk about it. I forgot who I was talking to recently, and man, he could just. My first cross was this, and this was his parents, and this, and
Right.
they did this. I'm like, oh my god, how do you remember all that? I don't know how some of these guys do it. So
I forget the dog before he gets past my mailbox going out the driveway. If I put him in the truck to sell, I can't remember him. 2 minutes.
the notepads are heavy going to the registration booth, right?
Yeah.
No. So the one of the big reasons, obviously you've made a staple in this sport. There's a story I forgot to remind you before we started recording. I'll touch on it later, but and I don't know if it was this cross, but a cross just went into the Hall of Fame this year off of Crisco's New Bern and Atkins Penny.
Yes.
And I believe you had the majority of those dogs off of that cross, correct?
I did. I owned 5 of the 8 of them.
5 of the 8.
Yeah. Well, 4. Big Boy was Eddie Atkins dog,
Okay.
but he went with me everywhere.
Gotcha.
Went with us everywhere.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So what's the story behind making that cross? I don't know how much you know about why that cross was made.
I wanted better hounds, and I was seeking advice from Eddie Atkins, and he was like saying, we need the sister to a really good jip. Well, we went to a one-day hunt right after that, and Rick and Kathy Stone gave us Atkins Lucy's sister.
Okay.
Well, I say us. They gave it to Eddie.
Right.
And I took it home to him, and just a little while later, she came in heat, and he had a friend that had been over to his house and said he had a friend that had just bought a stud dog and that he would appreciate it if he would at least give him a chance. And he took the dog over, took Penny over there, and, 6 weeks later, there they were.
No kidding.
And the dogs were spread out amongst all friends. And it was, I want to say it was like 3, at least it was 4 of them named Shelby. His wife was sick at the time, and while he was giving the puppies out, the ambulance showed up and took her away. And then we were all standing there going, yeah, I'm going to call mine Shelby. I'm going to call mine.
Of course.
So when it got confusing, I switched mine to Sexy Shelby.
Right.
But, yeah, it was several different people that had them. And Rick and Kathy got one, and I got one. Tinker had one. Eddie had one.
No.
And so, but at the end, once I realized that they could run, I went and bought them all, tried to buy them all, and bought all the ones I could get.
Right.
And just everything hit right. I was at the point in my life where I had unlimited running and could do whatever I wanted wherever I got ready, and just ran on fresh game and all the things that it takes. That
Where were you running at?
I had a pen at the time.
Yeah, I figured
I'm a
that's where it
family
was.
farm.
Right. So that's where it was. So that cross was just made kind of completely on a wing.
Yeah, just hit.
Just happened to hit.
Just happened to hit. And it fell right into my lap right at the right time in my life where I was in between contracts. I had some time. I wasn't struggling.
Right.
And I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And the Lord provided it. And I decided I was going to try to take them as far and as many places as I could. I took them to Canada 2 times. I took them south everywhere. I took them to the Nationals. Just everywhere.
Wow.
Pamlico, Manning, all the big pins.
And it all just lined up perfectly.
It was great.
I love it.
The trip of a lifetime was to Manning with Todd, Miller, and Brad.
Really?
Yes, and I won the Calcutta all 3 days, first 3 days of, I think it was All-American. And then both of them got scratched. They were first and second, and they both got scratched on the last day. So that was heartbreaking, but still the best trip ever.
Wow.
Yeah, remodeled my house with the Calcutta money. So yeah, that will probably forever live as the best trip ever.
No kidding.
I'm hoping you beat it, but I don't know.
Right.
Probably not.
So that cross had, do you know off the top of your head how many champions were, obviously I think almost everything in that litter was champion, right?
Yeah, well, Virginia Power never made a champion.
Okay.
But he won 3 derbies in a row.
Gotcha.
He just could not make the 3rd day with an ankle issue.
Okay.
And, yeah. Well, mine made 16.
16.
And Kathy and Rick, theirs made 1. And I believe Brandon's dog won a derby, and then she got hurt, and they went to breeding her.
Gotcha.
So they all did something. There was one that didn't do, but
Yeah, there was something behind that run. Didn't he get like hurt or something like that, or was that maybe I'm thinking about the dog with the ankle, the dog that didn't really do anything?
No,
we
were standing there judging, watching them run, and she come out about 50 yards behind the last dog, which was Atkins Penny, the mother. And Tinker said, "I'm not going to own a dog that can't outrun its mother." And that was it. And 45 minutes later, the dog was in somebody's truck gone.
No.
And,
I mean, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I still think it's kind of wild that, there was no real rhyme. It was a reason, other than we wanted it off of the sister of a good dog and a chance on this stuff.
We knew Lucy was a really good dog. And it's not just a sister of a good dog. It's a sister of a good dog with low miles, which is what she had.
Gotcha.
She hadn't been field trial much. I think she got hurt or she had some kind of issue when she was real young. And Rick and them didn't field trial her. And so it just, when it works out, you can't, when it's planned, you can't stop it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take a second real quick and interrupt the show and talk about Cajun Lights. They have jumped on board to support the Hound's Tales podcast and the field trialing community. You got nighttime field trials coming up. I know I do in my series, Pleasure Running at Night. When you need to catch that next crossing, put your trust in Cajun Lights. Cajun Lights is made in America product out of North Carolina, who has been in business for over 25 years. They make cap style and bucket hat headlamps to free up that extra hand for your voice recorder or for your GPS. There are 3 main lights I want to focus on real quick. The first is the Micro Gator, which is the lightweight option. It has 4 brightness levels and 4 color options, including red for us field trialers. Rated at 50 to 60 hours of battery life on the highest setting, this is your flood style lamp that'll do really good for us out in the fields in the short brush and be able to help us get in front of those crossings. Next up is the Cajun Bayou, which is the next step up, and it includes the same number of colors and brightness levels, but it packs a much bigger punch. on that brightness level so you can catch those crossings way down the path when you got a long road to cover. And last but not least is the top level caged-in blinder. It has a main beam light with 4 levels of brightness and includes a walking light, and even with a light this bright, the burn life on it is rated at 5 to 6 hours on the highest setting. There's no chance of missing a dog with a light like this one, folks. All their lights come with a 2-year warranty and a lifetime labor warranty, and these guys are excited to get into our sport, ladies and gentlemen. So y'all be sure, if you see me at a hunt, come ask me about them. I'll have one of each of these lights on hand to show you and let you put it on your head and kind of experience it. Show these guys some love, guys, and y'all please go visit their website at CajunLights.com, and their phone number is 888-773-3080. Thank you, Cajun Lights, for all you do and for trying to get into this sport. Like I said, guys, let's show them some love. Let's get back to the show, guys. Here we go. So what's your thought on the low miles thing when you're talking about that? Like, why is that a big deal as far as making it?
I had the best gyps on paper that as good as gyps as ever were, and they never really produced superstar dogs. And I equate that to having a tremendous amount of million-mile club.
Interesting.
Think about it.
Yeah. Interesting.
You're bred at 2 years old.
Yeah.
With no miles, or you're bred at 6 years, 5.5 or 6 years old with a million miles. The body is taking a lot more abuse. It's it could just be that I had all my good dogs at one time and I'm not really due anymore at this point.
Right.
So
because that cross was made like 2 more times, right?
Yeah, it was 3 total.
3 total. That's what I thought. Did any
and
of
there was champions in each one. I think. Yeah. There were champions in each one. Tarzan, Noel's dog Tarzan was a champion.
Gotcha.
I think he might have been second or third litter.
Right.
Yeah, I think he was third litter because,
man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard a lot of people talk about this litter, that it was the first litter was just possibly could go down as one of the best litters of all time.
Yeah.
Arguably.
People used to say things like, if I'd have known he was coming with them dogs, I wouldn't be there. But they don't say that anymore.
So I want to know, there's a story I think you had told me, or maybe MJ had told me the story, and I don't know what dog it was or who it was or what. I think it was supposed to be Sexy. I think it's supposed to be Sexy Shelby. That you had made her a champion before she was 2.
Right.
And there was a big time Garmin hunt like the week after you made a champion with her. And you said, I'm going to go win me a daggone Garmin. And you went down there and won the Garmin.
Yeah.
Is that right?
That is correct.
And that was Sexy, right?
I've never had to buy a Garmin. Of course, the one I got now is 10 years old.
Right.
It still works.
It's still kicking. I love it. So, I kind of want to go through the list of the dogs, at least, all the ones that you had, or maybe if you got stories on the other ones, that's we're talking about Sexy. Where did she make her name? Where did she make her champions and all that kind of stuff?
She was the most valuable $150 puppy ever purchased, which is what he charged for the puppies at that time.
Right.
And yeah, she just right away everybody could tell. We used to have 100 dogs on Sunday up there, and it was a crowd. And I seeked at first to show everybody that I had a good, but then after I was like, ooh, yeah, you don't need to be. That's enough of that.
Yeah, right.
And but she was just, I don't know, she was just always special.
Yeah.
She won the James River. And then she made field and duel at the Georgia, coastal Georgia, the Brunswick, and the Hollywood Open.
Man.
So, you're right there. She was top 5 twice, HOF. And Big Eddie was second one year, 5 points away, which at the time was the highest scoring HOI dogs ever. Missed it by 5 points.
Yeah, that time period, it was like a stupid amount of, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was just an insane amount of good dogs at that time.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. It was like something was in the water apparently during that time period. And it was just an ungodly
HOI was really taking hold.
Okay.
You know.
Gotcha. That was kind of at the beginnings of when that started, right?
When I started Fox Hunting, I didn't even understand it.
Right.
When I was doing my best, I didn't have any idea how to keep up with the points.
Gotcha.
And it was
And
only afterward. Yeah, it was only afterwards that I began to figure out. Oh, well, if you do this, you get this, and
gotcha.
And then I just decided, well, this is the dog I'm going to do that with.
Right.
So
Big Eddie then.
Big Eddie was my son.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never said no. He 22 hunts in 24 months.
Whoa.
So,
golly.
Stretching on out there.
That's tough.
Yeah. 5 and second 7 times.
So 5 champions.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, 4 and a bench.
4 and a bench. Gotcha. That's incredible. So out of those 2 dogs, it was what, 9 of them?
Yeah.
Man.
The regular Shelby was 4.
4.
Yeah. And I think Big Boy was 2.
2. Okay.
But
so
he was the best looking one.
Big Eddie.
Norris is Big Boy. Norris is Big Boy now.
Yeah, he just died here recently, right?
Yeah, they all did. I had to, put Sexy and regular Shelby down just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
that's tough.
Yeah, well, they lived a good life, and they finished out the last years on the couch. And I watch a hunting show every now and then, and in the commercial, the coyote howls,
right.
And they would jump up and run all around. And so.
That's how it should be, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they earned every bit of it.
Yeah.
Good gosh, they earned it.
She would get off the chain, and it would drive me insane.
Really?
Oh, my Lord. It would just be, yeah. So.
How old were those dogs then?
A little over 13 years
13.
old.
That's what I figured. It had to be about 13.
Yeah.
Man.
I want to say 13 and a half, but But yeah.
Well.
They were born on the first day of the Virginia State.
No kidding.
And I took them to the Virginia State the very next year. Yeah.
That's when it started.
No, it started before that at when they were younger at Joe Lewis's. Greatest fox pen ever. We had such fun down there, Joe's. It was just so fun.
I heard so many good. I've always heard so many good stories about that place.
It was just Joe himself.
Really?
Yeah. Just the whole
that place
crowd.
I never got to experience that place. It was gone before I got into the sport.
Opie's Playground. Oh yeah.
I love it. How big was that place?
I don't know, just maybe 250 acres, something like that.
I got you. Nothing crazy, but I love it.
I took them all there and put all 5 of them in the Derby.
Right.
And Sexy won everything except on.
No.
Combination, whatever. And finished second to Cash Flow's dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you.
So we were big rivals back in the day.
Right.
Big rivals. And so.
I love it. And now you've got some dogs off of Sexy, don't you?
Yeah, several crosses, several males. If anybody's interested in breeding to them, I'm doing free breeding to them, just trying to keep the bloodline alive.
I got you.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yep, I don't blame
Cox's Raj and Miller's Cash, just several of them.
Gotcha.
P&J's Dallas.
That's right.
Yeah, when that dog won the Virginia State, regular Shelby was second, and she had won that Virginia State the year before that.
That's pretty cool.
So she was just a fraction away from winning the Virginia State 2 years in a row.
I wonder if anybody, or I wonder if there's any way to. There's probably, God knows how you'd have to. Long have to sit down and do the math on it, but like direct crosses off of those dogs or off of that cross in total, off of the Frisco's New Bern and Atkins Penning. I'd love to know
how many dogs are out there now.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not sure about it right now, but at one point you either had dogs that came out of that and the Jimmy B bloodline,
right,
or you were clapping.
Right.
It was one or the other.
Yeah.
And it just, for some reason, it seemed to cross good and with anything.
You never know.
And
I love it. That's awesome. I want to take a second and talk about Frontline Optics real quick, guys. They are a sunglasses company that is owned and operated by frontline workers, fires and emergency services, guys. They have designed glasses with us in mind, with the frontline workers in mind, people that are out there using your sunglasses every day and don't want to break the bank and have a pair of sunglasses get broke and have to and just be out of that that crazy amount of money. Guys, these are high quality polarized sunglasses that are durable, affordable, and ultimately represent our lifestyle. In addition to that, a portion of all proceeds from the sale of these glasses is donated to First Responders Children's Foundation. It is in support of those children who have lost a parent in the line of duty. How cool is that, guys? So, guys, check these guys out, frontlineoptics.com. Go to their website, and when you go to checkout, be sure to type in the promo code HoundsTales. That's TALES while you check out, and you'll receive 15% off your first purchase. Also, these guys have a first-time replacement, no questions asked program. Be sure to check that out, guys. These guys are awesome. I can't thank them enough for jumping on board, and we'll get back to the show. Well, I know that, so I don't think we really hit on Virginia Power very much. What was his?
Got him from Michael Easter.
Okay.
He had got him as a puppy, and I think Michael was, phasing out fox hunting, and I realized the dogs could run, and I had heard that he had the dog was running good, but it had an ankle issue, or maybe I think it was shoulder issue. It was shoulder, and I called him and asked him what he wanted for it, and he told me, and I rode on down there and bought it.
Yeah. And
brought him on back to the house, and sure enough, he was fast as could be the first day, and tough the second day, and then just couldn't get it, and
shoulder hurt him on the third.
So I was just like, well, I'm gonna keep derby hunting him, and won 3 derbies in a row, and he turned 2 years old, and I knew I couldn't hunt him anymore, and put him on the internet, and Bruce Onion drove from Canada down there. 12 hours later, he was standing there with the money to buy him. Took him on back and bred him a bunch of dogs up in Canada with him and all. I think I don't know if he's still alive, but I do see a bunch of dogs down south that have it in them. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, he was a good dog as well.
So which one was you said? I guess Big Eddie was probably your favorite off that cross.
No, it was Sexy.
Sexy.
See, Big Eddie won't mind. That was Missy Windsor's dog.
Okay.
And I drove up at a hunt, and she had sold me a show dog. Mm-hmm. And I had the dog down there, but I couldn't be there for some reason. And she showed the dog and won or whatever. She walked up and said, I got to have that dog. And I was like, well, about that time the phone rang, it was Tinker saying, that dog of Missy's is the fastest dog I've ever seen. Buy it. Do whatever you got to do to get it. And I was like, well, I'll trade you that dog for the puppy you got. She was like, deal.
Ooh.
And there you go.
I bet she hated herself after that.
Well, she liked the dog. The dog was Miss Virginia. She did real well with
it. Okay, yeah. I've heard that name.
Yeah. So,
man, you talk about a time period with just an insane amount of big names going around.
Yeah.
Golly. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's all kinds of names going around. And, of course, there's still a lot of dogs that are out there that are making their names.
That's right.
But, man, you just sitting there talking and listening. Like, that time period was just a freak time. At least, I mean, I wasn't doing it that time, but it seemed like it was just a freak time for field trial dogs.
It was really good. It went by really fast.
Yeah.
Couple different people, Cliff Parker and Wayne Prophet, both said, I don't think you know how special these dogs are. And you know how it is. When it's going on, you kind of slough it off. Truthfully, I thought, well, I've got these great dogs, and then now next they're going to be great mothers. And after that, the puppies would be great.
Right.
And it just, as try as I may, it just didn't work out that way. It just, it's like you get to the top, and you know what it takes, you have what it takes, and then everything else after that is, just.
Yeah, all luck almost kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hoping to get a one-time champion. Again.
Right.
And so it's.
And you've had some off of those. Yeah, I think you.
Billy Poole said the same thing.
Yeah.
You're on top now, old boy. But you ain't gonna be there forever. Oh.
I can hear him saying it too.
Oh yeah. That and you're running in the back.
That's
They're running in the back, and you got. He used to tell me all the time. He said, "You got the power, old boy." Oh Lord.
I didn't get to see him before maybe a year or two after I got in, but man, I sure miss seeing him around the pen.
He was a good person. He was. He was so agile. I've seen him do some things, man. He was agile. He could do it. He could handle fox. He was a fox pit owner suited him because
Yeah.
he could handle foxes. Yes, indeed.
No kidding. I know one. I think I've told this story before, but the first time I ever met him, as me and Dennis Scott were down there,
All right.
and we were sitting there by the bathrooms up against the gate, like close to the gate down there. We were just sitting there listening, shooting the breeze, trying to watch crossing and stuff, and you hear this coming up behind us. I'm like, what in God's name is it? And you turn around and it's this raggedy old red Chevrolet truck, beat all to hell. I mean, this poor truck had been through the ringer. And he come up to us, rolled the window down, sat there and talked for us for a while. And Dennis, we just had a conversation, and you never would have known that he was the owner of the pen.
When I started down there, they had the puppy pen too.
Okay.
So Saturdays would be twice as many people. Yeah. And it was
man. So they'd have a hunt going on at the same time?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Puppy hunt in one pen and one day hunting the other pen.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I won 2 puppy hunts back to back with these 2 dogs that I had. And thought, wow, man, I got the best young dogs around. I'm going to the Virginia State. This is before 60. I'm going to the Virginia State and show these boys what's up.
Right.
And because I got the power.
They got the power.
And so I go to Virginia State. Both and Tinker had already told me. He said, "Man, your dogs bark too much."
Oh,
and I go to the Virginia State, and both of them get scratched within 15 minutes of cast.
Oh, no.
And so I'm headed home before the bench show ever starts, thinking, "Man, I'm gonna give these dogs away."
Right. Ain't got the power no more.
No, I took them to the hunt club, left them in there, and started over.
Oh man. Now that dog, we were at the Maryland State last year. The dog that you won the bench show with was off of Sexy, right?
That's right.
That's what I thought.
Sexy and Luke.
Yep, that's what I thought. Yep, Yep, I remember that. That was fun. That was pretty cool.
She always threw big, strapping dogs with really deep voices.
Really?
She had a really deep voice. A chopped voice.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a squealer. I don't like the squealing barks. I don't like them.
I like them all. I like the. It's okay if I can tell it.
Yeah.
But soft-spoken dog or Tweety bird. We call it Tweety bird.
Tweety bird.
If you're barking like a Tweety bird,
ain't gonna cut it. Ain't gonna cut it.
Well, Eddie's sight isn't the best.
Okay.
So he demands a dog with a good voice, and if he deems the dog as he used to say it about Big Eddie all the time. He said, "You get the fastest, wimpiest sounding dog in fox hunting, Jay Bird." Because he was just like, ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh, hoot owl going through.
Yeah, just a little chop.
That's funny. That's funny. Is there any other stories that stick out on this cross that?
I don't know. We went to the Nationals, didn't fare all that good.
Yeah.
My friend Wayne said on the way down there, he went to the Nationals with me. He said, "Yeah, them dogs ain't gonna know what to do on the outside. They ain't got no wire to guide them."
Was he right?
He was.
He was.
Blew out there, went to the buck hole, gone. I till 11:30 at night trying to get them up.
Ugh.
All that kind of stuff.
Give them a can of food and a little hit of food and pray again the next day.
Send them on out there.
Yep.
Didn't go that far to stop.
Yeah.
And going to Canada was really good. I enjoyed that and made a lot of friends up there.
Yeah.
Took my little shorts dog with me one time, and everybody loved him, and so that's a really fun place. You should go there.
I'd love to. That's one of the ones on.
They have a campsite not too far from the pen that it's right on the lake. And
okay.
It's cabins, and that's what we did.
Which hunt was that? That wasn't the Wolf Island hunt, was it?
Augusta. No, it was the Brunswick.
Brunswick.
Both years in a row was I won the Brunswick 2 years in a row.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
they probably didn't want to give you a damn a pass to get up there after that.
Yeah, going through customs and the lady's like, "Yeah, they expect us to pull all these dogs out." I was like, "Well, I can tell you, when you pull that one out right there, she's gonna get away, and we're gonna have ourselves a problem." And she was like, tapped on the box and said, "Y'all have a good day."
No. So. Is it harder going up or is it harder coming back?
It's harder going up.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Well, guess that.
No kidding.
Yeah, they're all into what it is, and well, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
My friend Robbie Davis said, the guy walks up and says, where y'all headed? And he said, to the island. This is after we had rowed the boat across to go to Wolf Island.
Yeah.
You know, had our dogs and stuff in the back of the truck or whatever.
Right.
And he said, to the island. Well, like that. And that was it. He said, well, first you're going to go over there and sit on that bench for 45 minutes while this ferry goes back and gets the person that can watch you while I go through all your stuff. And I was like, oh wonderful.
Man.
But anyway, we finally made it.
Account for a couple extra hours if I go up there.
Yeah.
Good gosh.
But
wow.
So that was really fun, and truthfully, it was fun everywhere, just wherever you went.
Yeah.
I used to think, oh well, I said, ask Eddie one time. I said, well, they might scratch Big Eddie out. He said it don't matter if they do. We got a bunch of good dogs, and they won't get them all.
Yeah.
Can't get them all.
Can't scratch them all.
And that was the only way that regular Shelby ever won was Sexy and Regular and Big Boy would be scratched out, and then she would win.
What would they get scratched out for?
Just whatever.
Yeah. Just random stuff. I didn't know if they had a thing that
in a pipe. We went to Old 76, or I think that's what the name of it, and they fed in the light line. They bags of dog food in the light line.
No kidding.
And I was like, man, come on.
That's tough.
But anyway, I mean, other dogs didn't have any problem with it.
Right.
So.
Yep. Are you a proud hound owner? Do you cherish those memorable hunting moments with your loyal companions? Well, Roxy Designs has something special just for you. Roxy Designs is revolutionizing their product line, offering unique treasures for the hound world. Whether you're celebrating a successful hunt or want to showcase your kennel's excellence, they've got you covered. Picture this: beautiful plaques, custom license plates, sleek tumblers, and stunning banners, all tailored to your liking. And yes, they can even personalize them just for your kennel. Did you win a hunt or feel your hound deserves more recognition? Roxy Designs can create a commemorative plaque that will make your achievements truly shine. Ready to discover endless possibilities? Visit Roxy Designs on Facebook. That's what somebody told me at the last hunt I was at. You know, it thundered and lightning and everybody was like, oh no. And then one old guy I forgot who it was, one older guy, he said, they're all in the pen together. They all got the same chance.
That's right.
So, well, yeah. I guess you're right. Said if they don't do it, that's their own damn fault. I love it, man. So what do you think your most memorable win off that cross was?
The weekend that I won the James River with Sexy Shelby and placed 4 other dogs in the top 10, and Big Eddie was second, tied for first HGA, and ended up second at the Dismal Swamp at Pools same weekend.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Have them split up.
Yeah.
Man.
I was just like, man, there's no reason to run them together.
Right.
And I'll send this one with Missy.
Yeah.
And she took him down there, and I think he won Speed and Drive, but wasn't. Anyway, he ended up second.
Gotcha. Got beat out on some kind of.
Yeah, Wayne Harvey's dog.
No kidding.
Yeah, my other buddy.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I want to touch on, Mr. Atkins. We kind of talked about him. How big of an influence was he?
Absolutely the best friend I have in fox hunting. Every good piece of fox hunting advice that I've ever soaked up came from him.
Gotcha.
Just a wealth of absolute knowledge. I don't if
he's on my radar. I got to get him on. Yeah.
And so yeah, and we still do it. We went through a little stretch where we didn't see each other, and I went back over there, and we were going to go fox hunting, and he said, I didn't think we'd ever go again. And I was like, yeah, we're going every Wednesday night that we can. And so we do that. I still try to go by there, and at this point, he and I both agree that we neither one have dogs that we should be field trialing at this point, and we in the Virginia Breeze is in the rebuilding stage.
I understand.
I
understand.
That's not all we can do. Raise some more puppies.
That's it.
And so I'm doing that, and
he's getting on up there in age, ain't he?
Yeah, he's the oldest Atkins.
No kidding.
That's what he told me a while back.
How old
That
is
he
that?
outlived anybody that they can remember
Wow.
in his bloodlines.
Well, I'm definitely have to
Yeah,
talk after this
he's
is over. And
just a wonderful human being, and he has so many good stories. I wish I could hear them all again. You know,
Yeah.
he won the All American down in Texas.
Okay.
Stopped on the way down there and bought a dog from a man that said, "I have a coyote dog if you don't have one." And so they stopped and bought it, and sure enough, that's what he was. He said after he won that hunt, they brought him home, and the dog was worthless at home because there was only foxes around here
right.
at that time. And he said the dog won't,
Well,
but he won.
But he won.
Oh.
I bet
So,
that
yeah.
guy was like.
And he's had so many successful crosses. The Atkins, Penny, Crisco Newbern, Atkins, Penny Cross was the most acclaimed. But the truth is, he's been selling dogs on Wednesday, and they making champion on Sunday for 5 decades. Yeah. I can name off multiple people that have done that. I know that have done that, and there were so many before that. And he, was used to run on the outside a lot and had really good fox dogs and enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get up with you. I'm gonna talk after we get done.
And we look forward to getting another good dog.
Right.
And we're going to get one. And when we do, I bet if Eddie Atkins gets a dog that can run, I'll take it to him. I'll take it in a minute.
I know y'all have the drive and the determination behind you. That's for daggone sure. And
we had at one point we had every advantage.
Yeah. Right.
And things change.
Yeah.
And
right.
it just, so with that being said,
yep, I get it. Now, go ahead.
I was at the point in my life where I could do it.
Yeah.
Now my business is set up different. I got a lot of young, industrious men that are super qualified. I got to keep them busy. I don't have every afternoon to fox hunt.
Yeah, I get that.
So
makes it tough.
Like I did.
Yeah. World changed too.
But I mean, that might go out the window if I get a really good dog.
Right. I'm sure I've known you probably since I've started doing this stuff. Honestly.
I think I met you at Hollywood.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's where it was.
Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna tell a story on you. It's one of my funniest things that I remember is it was at Pools. And we're all sitting there, and it was during that time period where pools had to shut down towards the end of the days and stuff like that. And I think it was on the 3rd day, and we were all sitting there at the upper lots, sitting in the chute, just sitting in chairs, shooting a breeze, shooting a bull, and that kind of thing. And here come the dogs up to the gate. The dogs that were quitting there at the end. Here you go. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Do the right thing.
If it comes to the gates, you got to put him in there.
You got to do it. That's it. He said, do the right thing. He said, oh, there's my dog. Do the right thing. That had me laughing so hard that day. I'll never forget that. Oh, man. Well, there's like I said, we're rolling to this last little topic real quick. This is... I always give options on the questions, and the questions you chose was how do we, as houndsmen, how do we protect the sport? How do we save the sport? What is your advice on that to what we can do as houndsmen to preserve and keep this around so we can pass it on to the next generation?
Yeah, I was going to say, take a kid or take kids fox hunt. Ramona, my fiance, has grandkids.
Okay.
And we've been taking them to the Tidewater. This was the first year that we didn't in scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
But and at first they were very apprehensive, but after 3 years of going or 2 years of going, they look forward to it. They talk about it. It's an experience. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a young boy. It could be a girl. So that's what we have.
Right.
And so yeah, keep kids involved in it. And then when you're hunting on the outside or hunting at all, just be responsible for your dog. Take actions to be responsible for your dog, and
I agree with that.
And be considerate of others. That's all you can really do.
I agree with that. I like that.
If you don't do anything to your dog that you wouldn't do to your child,
that's right.
That's right. I don't think the quote unquote the stuff that people give the dog is nearly as bad as it was 15 years ago. I just think that it's evolved.
Right.
you can, there are better things that
Yeah.
don't destroy nearly.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
as hunters, we could protect the dog by, and protect the sport and, take
Yep.
some kids hunting
There you go.
and keep it simple. Just try to have fun. If you're only going to run for HOY, I will never try to run for HOY again
Yeah.
because it just
Stress you out.
it's work.
Yeah.
You got to plan it. It's got to,
That's
it's a dog. It's hard to get a dog to run 2-3 days in 30 days.
Yeah.
But it's not hard to find hunts to go to.
Right. Right.
And,
right.
so.
That's what, that's what I had to tell myself after the other weekend.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready to go. And I was like,
He is too.
yeah, oh yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah. That's when I was my fault. I would go down and go, look how good he looks, man. He's dying to get back in the truck.
Right.
I'm gonna go and take. We just go to a 1 day this week.
Yeah. Yep. I'm having to kind of, all right, calm down. Don't burn them out.
Well, first of all, the dog's window is only open for so long.
That's true, and that's
It's catching it when it opens
right.
is more important than catching it as it's closed. To me.
Yeah.
And I've got several friends that they had a dog that just tore it up in the Derby.
Yeah.
And then just tore it up in the Derby again. And then just tore it up in, if the dog could,
Yeah.
it could. And,
Yeah.
to me, I'd rather, I don't know. It's hard to remember who won the Derby, the last Derby. It just is. It's just not as coveted as, and it's everybody likes it. If you go to the Derby and you win,
That's great.
that's great.
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's not like,
Me and Dennis Scott were literally having that conversation the other day because that's all he ever did was Derby. He never would go for the 3-day.
my mentor,
Mhm.
Eddie Atkins, saying is the greatest 1-day dog that ever lived, Jay Bird, is still 2/3 shy of being a real dog. And I thought to myself, wow. Oh my goodness. And that's what I kind of base my kennel on. I want to do 3 days. I want a dog that can do it and do it and do it. And
I like the environment at 3 days so much better too.
yeah.
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 You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
It used to be a lot more cookouts. And the reason was, well, one of the things, at the Tidewater, we start so early. By the time you get to 6 o'clock at night, everybody's exhausted. Well, it used to be that Billy Poole would come around at 10 o'clock and he would get on the intercom and say, lights out. I say again, lights out. And then the camp would go dark. And because he'd throw the breaker.
No kidding.
Yeah, it was over. He called lights out. It was over.
He didn't leave you no choice.
No. And you can forget leaving a camper down there plugged in.
No kidding.
Oh, no, you can forget that. That's No, you
Really?
come back, your refrigerator be stinking. He didn't unplug that thing.
You're going to save that money where you can.
But it was all just a great big cookout at the beginning. It was just,
Right.
That's what we did.
And that was one of the things when I got into the sport, because I asked, I was like, man, you get talking to people and they're like, man, telling those stories about the cookouts and hanging out and everybody sitting around drinking beer and, having a good time or whatever, just, having a good time and going out to eat and stuff like that. Like you said, a lot of these hunts are so daggone early now and you're exhausted by the time you get done with it. Nobody
back then, people were still using beep beep.
Right.
And it was not unusual to see people out there at 6 p.m. trying to catch their dogs up.
Right.
Right. I heard O.J. Bourne say one time, "There's no telling how many champions I could have made if I'd have had these, other collars." And
I don't know that I could have done it.
he used to run his dogs with weed eater string, 75 yards of weed eater string on
Yeah,
them.
I've heard a lot of people used to do that.
And,
Good old catch style. Well, Jay Bird, before we end this thing, you got any kind of shout outs you need to give out? Any kind of special thanks or anything like that?
Shout out to my man Eddie Atkins for all the help, for making the cross, for being there, for all the advice, for the encouragement, for just helping me become a fox hunter. And shout out to Billy Poole and Demo, but shout out to Billy Poole for having the clairvoyance to start that thing and get it straight. And
you better thank your fiance too before she has you on.
Yeah, and shout out to my girl for being the best kennel partner a man could have. Yeah, and I went from having the worst numbers in fox hunting to having the picture perfect best numbers available. And
She
yeah,
works her tail off. I'll give her
no
that.
doubt. And if we could just get a dog to run.
Right.
I think we won a Calcutta one weekend, and I gave it to her, let her have it or
Yeah.
whatever. So she was like, "Yeah, we need 3 more dogs like that."
Right.
I was like, "Yeah,
Yes, we do.
no doubt."
You find them, we'll get them. I love it.
And I shout out to you, man, for everything you do, and continued success with that Penn Series thing.
I appreciate
People love that.
it. I appreciate
The hunt, the sport needed that.
Thank
Somebody's going to go away from there really, really happy at the end.
Tell you what, I wish I was running in it.
Yeah, and and it's great.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. It's hard work. But, seeing everybody get
Well,
excited
you're getting the fruits of your labor here now
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the
Yeah.
and
100%. 100%. Well, I certainly do appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming on. It's I know that had to be real special for you when they put that cross in the Hall of Fame.
I didn't have any idea about it, and when Brandon called and told me, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's great for Eddie. He made the cross. The award was his or whatever, but I got to live the life of a
Yeah.
person that owned those dogs, and if I never get a good dog again, or never get a super fast dog again, I know what one looks like, and I've had a few.
You made your name.
And
Yep.
we'll keep on trying and do what we can.
That's it. That's it. Well, Jay Bird, I certainly appreciate you coming down.
Thank you, James.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you joining me. And everybody out there listening, y'all don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button for me. Be sure to share it out
Absolutely.
there. And thank y'all so much. And like always, guys, happy hunting.